Hello everyone. Today I'm diving into a game analysis for Chef's Cards, a project created by one of the groups in my game prototyping course. Chef's Cards is a single-player card-based cooking simulator where players combine ingredient cards to create dishes and meet customer satisfaction goals. This gameplay involves drawing cards, selecting ingredients, and strategically combining them to reach a point threshold, similar to meeting a customer order. My group's game, The Cozy Cauldron, is also a cooking simulator focused on creating complex coffee orders for fantasy customers. Players select from coffee beans, shot sizes, cup types, milk types, syrups, and even hidden ingredients inferred through customer dialogue. This shared customer service loop where players must fulfill an order through careful, sometimes strategic choices is central to both games, though each has its own unique approach. I'll use the Mechanics Dynamics Aesthetics framework to analyze Chef's Cards, focusing on how it approaches customer satisfaction, card combination strategies, and player discovery. In Chef's Cards, the mechanics revolve around card combinations where each card represents an ingredient, and each ingredient has a specific point value tied to it. Players start each round with 8 ingredient cards and can drag up to 3 into the cooking area to try and create a new dish by pressing the cook button. The game rewards logical combinations such as turning 2 wheat cards into dough or combining dough, cheese, and tomato to make a pizza, which provides a higher point value. Interestingly, certain cards have a negative value, like oil or an oven. Rather than adding difficulty, these negative values simply discourage absurd combinations, like trying to feed an oven to a customer. This mechanic prevents any random card from counting towards the goal and penalizes impractical choices, ensuring that players think about their card combinations. Once players have created a dish, they can serve it, which transfers its point value to the customer's satisfaction level and draws 8 new cards. Players have 4 attempts to satisfy each customer's score threshold. If they don't reach it by the 4th serve, they lose. Compared to the Cozy Cauldron, which emphasizes step-by-step coffee-making processes, Chef's Cards emphasizes efficient, thoughtful card selection and ingredient combinations to meet the customer's demands within a limited number of turns. Moving to dynamics, the player experience in Chef's Cards is unexpectedly influenced by a bug, where ingredients in the cooking area don't disappear after a dish is served. While unintentional, this bug allows players to save up to 3 ingredients across rounds, introducing a strategic layer that deepens the gameplay. By retaining ingredients or even completed dishes, players can plan ahead, building higher value dishes to meet the customer's requirements over multiple rounds. This emergent strategy is engaging because it's something players discover on their own, rather than a feature the game explicitly teaches. For the Cozy Cauldron, adding similar found strategies might involve encouraging players to experiment with timing or multitasking their coffee crafting, which could deepen the player experience. The emergent strategies in Chef's Cards suggest that players are more engaged when they're given room to explore and discover effective playstyles, a valuable insight for any game centered on customer service and crafting orders. Finally, looking at aesthetics, Chef's Cards uses a pixel art style that supports its arcade-inspired simplicity. This style keeps ingredients and dishes visually distinct, which is essential in a card-based game where players need to quickly recognize and combine elements. However, the aesthetics fall short due to several incomplete and inconsistent visual elements. Some assets are missing entirely, and neither the cooking nor serving areas are labeled or visually differentiated, leaving players guessing at the functionality of these spaces. Additionally, ingredient cards aren't consistently aligned and often appear rotated, which makes the game feel visually unpolished. These inconsistencies in the UI can be disorientating, as it isn't clear at first glance what buttons like cook and serve do without experimentation. Compared to the Cozy Cauldron, which has a polished pixel art aesthetic complete with animations and a well-defined UI, Chef's Cards would benefit from refining its visuals and clarity. For a customer service-based cooking game, visual coherence and clear indicators are essential for a smooth player experience. A more polished interface would help players focus on strategic gameplay rather than navigating unclear elements. In summarizing this analysis of Chef's Cards, we can see how the MDA framework gives structure to understanding the game's strengths and areas for growth. The mechanics as explored set up a unique card-based system that's simple in design yet allows for some interesting strategic combinations, especially through the unintended ingredient retention bug. This mechanic has effectively created an unexpected layer of depth, giving players the freedom to develop a personalized strategy that wasn't explicitly programmed into the game. The dynamics encourage players to discover this emergent strategy, which adds replayability and makes for a satisfying experience where players feel like they're mastering a hidden system. However, as with many prototypes, there are notable areas for improvement, particularly in the aesthetic and UI departments. The pixel art style has great potential, but inconsistent card orientations, missing visual assets, and the lack of UI clarity around critical buttons like cook and serve create challenges for new players. The absence of clear labeling in areas like the cooking and serving sections forces players to rely on trial and error, which disrupts the flow and can detract from the intended experience. Comparing this with the Cozy Cauldron, where aesthetics and UI clarity are highly polished, highlights that improving the visual cohesion in Chef's Cards could substantially enhance its approachability and overall enjoyment. Together, these findings point to both the benefits of unplanned player discovery as well as the importance of a refined interface that supports strategic depth without confusion. In conclusion, Chef's Cards delivers a strategic and replayable experience through its card combination mechanics and the additional depth created by the serving area bug. The pixel art style supports its arcade-like, accessible vibe, but could use more polish to improve visual clarity. An essential takeaway here is the value of emergent gameplay. Players are rewarded when they discover new strategies or approaches that aren't directly taught by the game. This could be a valuable addition to the Cozy Cauldron, where strategies could expand beyond timing and multitasking, perhaps by allowing players to experiment with different ingredient combinations to find hidden efficiencies or Easter eggs. However, Chef's Cards also serves as a reminder of the importance of polish in aesthetics and user interface. The lack of clear labels, missing assets, and inconsistently aligned cards impacts the game's usability and overall presentation. The Cozy Cauldron benefits from a highly polished aesthetic and a guided UI, so this analysis reinforces that maintaining visual coherence and clear UI indicators is key for our game as well. Altogether, Chef's Cards highlights both the strengths of allowing for emergent strategies and the challenges of ensuring visual clarity and consistency in a cooking simulator.